I will now call this board meeting, regular board meeting of the Harlingen Board of Trustees to order. Pursuant to the governor's temporary suspension of open meeting laws, this will be an audio-visual meeting, and we do have a quorum. Before I move on, I do want to welcome our guests that are here. This is the first time in over a year that we've had guests in the board meeting, so it's great to see faces from our community here. So this is a hybrid meeting. Some of the recognitions and guests are still zooming in remotely, but you that are here, especially the students, it's so great to see you guys. We do have Dr. Perez on. He's he's using audio. He's driving back from a meeting that he was at, and we do want to congratulate Dr. Perez for being reappointed as a Texas Board of Regents. So very proud of him. I now want to observe a moment of silence. And in that moment of silence, let's remember everybody that, especially our HCISD personnel that we've lost in the past year that have succumbed to COVID. So let's observe that moment of silence for now. Thank you. We'll move on to item C, the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Shane Struble.
Thank you, Mr. President, trustees, Dr. Nayola, administration, and audience. Tonight's pledge will be led by Ebony Solis. Ebony is completing her final year at Harlingen High School South. Currently, she is the National Honor Society President, Vice President for the HCISD Student Advisory Board, Student Council Secretary, Ecology Club Secretary, and Senior Class Vice President. Outside of school, she is a member of the Event Planning Committee for Our Future of Change, a student-led international organization that raises awareness for human trafficking and gender violence. She is also running RGV Cards for Kindness, a chapter that works to spread love and appreciation to community members through cards. Ebony also teaches a virtual arts and crafts class to elementary students on Fridays. Now she is working on planning the second year of NSYNC, her free virtual summer program for young adults. I'm just getting started, folks.
Wow.
Ebony is a first-generation college student looking to graduate in the top 10 of her class. She has been accepted to Harvard University, Brown University, Dartmouth College, Duke University, Johns Hopkins University, Pomona College, Williams College, Middlebury College, and received the Terry Scholarship from UT Austin. Ebony has yet to decide which college she will attend next fall. I'm sure you're going to have some UT fans here encouraging. But she plans to major in either international relations, psychology, history, or government with a minor in creative writing. She plans to attend law school in the future so she can become a human rights or immigration attorney. She is also interested in politics, advocacy, and equitable education reform. Ebony is an aspiring writer and hopes to one day she will be able to publish her first book. Ebony wants to thank her parents, Liza Alcazar and Jesse Solis, family, God, and her HCISD community for their immeasurable amount of support and constant motivation to continue to grow as a person. Specifically, Ebony wants to thank her Harlingen Boys and Girls Club advisor, Vicki, for being a mentor throughout her young life, as well as Miss Cantu and her Ben Milam Elementary family, who helped her develop into who she is today. She also wants to thank Coakley Middle School and Harlingen High School South for providing her with opportunities that ultimately shaped her academic career and the trajectory of her future. Ladies and gentlemen, Ebony Solis.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to item number 2, awards and recognitions. Item 2A is a recognition of elementary UIL winners. Ms. Lori Romero.
Good evening, Mr. President, Board of Trustees, Dr. Noyola, senior team, and audience. The 9th annual UIL district meet took place virtually the week of March 8th to the 11th, where over 400 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students competed in 10 different academic events: art, dictionary, skills, listening maps and charts, music memory, number sense, oral reading, ready writing, social studies, and spelling. Students developed their skills after school with the assistance of nearly 190 teachers and staff, coaching them for this annual event. Results for the events were tallied and finalized. Tonight, we will be recognizing 6 campuses. So Dr. Noyola and Mr. Jaimes, if you can please join us here in the front so we can recognize our campuses. And we will be starting with our small school division. In 3rd place, we have Crockett Elementary, Principal Linda Molina. They are being joined by the UIL coordinator. In 2nd place, we have Austin Elementary, Principal Marta Gonzalez. And in 1st place, we have Jefferson Elementary Principal Alejandra Lara. And we also have her assistant principal here because we're recognizing her daughter in a little bit, so we have Ms. Salas with us as well.
There you go. You're a good friend. I'll get behind you.
If the rest of our board members can join us here for a group photo, please, in the front.
Where does he find this?
Everybody wave. 1, 2, and 3.
Now we'll move on to our large campus. In 3rd place, we have Treasure Hills, And we have our Assistant Principal, Kimberly McCutcheon, here with us. Second place, we have Stewart Elementary Principal Don Burbach. And in first place, we have Means Elementary Principal Melissa Almaraz. And I need them to stay there because they are also the sweepstakes winner. They had a total average of 145 points. So we can have the board join us again for a group photo.
Yeah, it's okay. It's bad. It's tiring.
Everybody wave. 1, 2, and 3.
Congratulations to all of our winners for an excellent job and all their hard work.
But where? What does that mean? Oh. Yeah.
I'll open it up for comments if any of our board members have any comments.
Yes, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Dr. Rani.
So first off, we just love celebrating all of you, and we love actually celebrating you in person. And so thank you so much to each of the, your leaders, the dedication to doing this extra work. And we really know that it's these kinds of activities that just get kids so excited about learning. It takes this kind of teamwork and this, the extra effort, but then to see it pay off. And so thank you so much for the passion you bring, the leadership you bring. It's really what makes all the difference for these children. And we had this beautiful student come and show you exactly what happens when you light them on fire. So congratulations to you as well. It's all about choice. And look at the choices that you have. It's tremendous. As one of our South students with 10 choices for university, and that's what you're grooming starting in elementary. And so thank you so much. We're just so proud of you.
Mr. President?
Go ahead, Dr. Moon.
Yes, echoing Dr. Reiniger, congratulations. And it's all about leadership, being there for the students. I mean, as a board, that's what we want to see. We want to see those students flourish. And to see so many accolades up here, it's powerful. It's great to see, Crockett and Austin in there, and Jefferson, and of course Treasure Hill is my alma mater. It's really wonderful to see the success that you guys are doing. And I know that the hours that the teachers, and it's tough. It can be challenging, especially with this year in COVID. So really, truly appreciate all the dedication, extra work that you all put into it. Thank you.
All right. All right, we'll now move on to item number 2B, recognition of the 2021 Region 1 TEPSON of the Year. Ms. Laura Romero.
Okay. The 2021 Region 1 TEPSON of the Year is an annual award that recognizes school leaders for their outstanding service to this association and for serving as a voice for Texas students. We are honored to recognize Michelle Ayala as a recipient of this award for her tremendous work and servant leadership. She and other regional honorees from across the state will be recognized by the Texas Elementary Principal and Supervisors Association this summer. If I can have Dr. Niela again and Mr. Jaime join us here. And I'm going to brag a little bit as she makes her way over here. We have something for her. She has done a phenomenal job this year of helping us in the areas of technology. She was one of our original digital classroom teachers. She was also Teacher of the Year. She was one of our first Apple certified teachers, so she has done a phenomenal job of helping us this year with all of those pieces.
We want him in the picture, though.
Yeah, we're gonna have him.
We want him.
Mr. President, if I might, you know, where did she go? Did she leave? Oh, it's fine. I can just say, in general.
Let her be free.
Yeah, let her be free. But we are, you know, clearly a wonderful example of a leader who just keeps giving, right? That servant attitude that, okay, I'll step in here. I can lead in the digital area. I can keep leading. We're bragging about you. Well, we understand. And Miles is probably really ready to go. So, but we were just saying that, you know, you've been a leader in our district in so many areas. And so we're so glad that you won this recognition, and clearly you deserved it, and you've stepped in, leaned in, as they say now, right, in so many areas. So thank you so much for everything that you've done and what you will do in the future. We need you, and we have such high expectations, so thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Rhoda.
Yes, may I please also commend this extraordinary leader. You know, what a legacy has already been achieved, you know, by the work that she has done. What a place she has already made for herself. As Dr. Reiniger says, we will continue to need her and people who will follow in her footsteps and emulate her and her successes as long as we have HCISD. So these special people like yourself make us so deeply proud, and we are so incredibly grateful. So thank you very, very much. This is really exciting. As an old elementary teacher myself, I have a clue about what this means, and I am so proud of you. And thank you for the pride that you bring to us as a district and to our entire community. You go. This is great. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Jerry. We'll move on now to item number 2C, recognition of the Lady Cardinals basketball team. Mr. Rob Davies.
Good evening, Board President, trustees, Dr. Noyola, administration, and audience. It's my pleasure tonight to celebrate the Harlingen Lady Cardinal basketball team. The Lady Cardinals finished the season with a record of 23-6. As a team, the Lady Cardinals dominated District 32-6A with their selfless attitude, intensity, and relentless effort at both ends of the floor. Their accomplishments include a district championship, a by-district championship, an area championship, and advancing to the Region 4 semifinals. Individual honors include Coach Ashley Monsiváis being named the 32-6A Girls Basketball Coach of the Year, Callie Cervantes being named the 32-6A Most Valuable Player, and Rosa Zapata being named the 32-6A Defensive Player of the Year. In addition, Callie Cervantes was selected to the prestigious Texas Association of Basketball Coaches All-Region Team. Before we introduce the student athletes, I'd like to recognize our coaches and the parents. Coach Ashley Monsiváis, stand up, please. Coach Jenna Alfaro. And Coach Paul Castor. Coaches, thank you for your incredible effort this season for these young ladies. And then, as we know as educators, you know, it takes a partnership. So we wanted to recognize you as parents and family members. If you just stand and give everyone. At this time, Dr. Moreira and Mr. James, if you would please come down front. Spring is a very busy time of the year, and as a result, we have many students participating in other activities tonight. Team members in attendance this evening are Rosa Zapata. Come forward. Alyssa Salas. Kimberly Scoggins. Layla Salas. Avery Hinojosa. Sydney Portillo. Callie Cervantes. Leila Badaru. Ladies and coaches, congratulations on a great season. Trustees, if you guys could come forward for a group photo. And coaches?
Okay, this camera first. Ready, 1, 2, and 3. Time, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and this cell right here, 1, 2, 3, and then your camera. Okay, hold up, we got a selfie over here, to your right. Oh, ladies, can y'all wait for a second, just for a second?
Ladies, come back. Ladies, come back. Ladies, come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, baby, hang tight for a little bit.
Not so fast. You got to remember, we haven't seen people in a year. We got to talk.
We gotta talk to you, right?
I think some of the trustees have some comments.
Mr. President?
Go ahead, Mr. Powers.
I just want to congratulate you guys on what an incredible season. I've been around a long time, and I can't remember when one of our teams has advanced as far as you all have. I mean, Mr. Davies, do you know when the last time the Cardinals? 1999. 1999. But what an incredible run y'all had. And, you know, the one thing that exemplifies y'all is true teamwork. Y'all really played as a team. I mean, what was it, 26 and, how many, 23 and 6? Or
Yep.
23 and 6, that's incredible. But it's teamwork, and y'all did it with style and class. You really did. Y'all really represented this district, this city, and it was so proud to watch y'all go all the way up to the area finals, semifinals. It really was. So congratulations on a great run. How many of y'all are juniors or sophomores? Do we have many? All right. All right, well, good. You're going to have some big shoes to keep going next year. So congratulations on a fantastic year.
So, yes, please, Mr. President, if I might add my congratulations. You know, it's, I've had the pleasure of watching some of you for a very long time, since you were little bitty, and were already showing your talent, and it has been tremendous to see what you've done together. And your coaches, congratulations, right? You got handed a gift with all this talent, but it takes your vision, your molding, everything you do. We respect that, and we're so thankful for your leadership, and so glad that you're being recognized for that. And then the parents, wow, what a group of parents, right? Just fans to the end. And that's the magic of it. It just seems like as we're watching teams progress, that it's really just kind of once in a lifetime, you see that come together. And so I am so thankful for you girls to get to experience that, because it really is a gift, and I think you're going to see it even more as you keep going through the different stages of your life. And you'll pass it down generation to generation, right? So anyway, just my congratulations to you. You earned it, and we honor you. Thank you.
Mr. President. Yes, congratulations, of course, and everybody's probably asking, well, what's the secret, right? Well, there is no secret, it's hard work. And I can tell you that I saw this, people watching at home, I saw these ladies work hard off the court, off season, and reality is they had an amazing coach, number one, that guided them and coached them along the way. Number two, just like Dr. Reiniger mentioned, they've been together from a very early age, working together, working hard, and they've had that parental involvement that really has meshed them together. And of course, they've learned that work ethic from their parents, from each other, and they just would not give up, and they had a really hard work ethic. It was a pleasure to be able to watch them play the last 3 or 4 years, and even my kids, Sophia, John Robert, and Patrick, they love watching their basketball games because they're so exciting. And they'd ask for Alyssa, and they asked for Layla, and they knew who Callie was, they knew everybody, and it was really cool to see them grow with you guys. And now, guess what they do outside? They play basketball, because you guys are role models to so many people. Mm-hmm. So don't forget that. And again, the coaching, of course, the parenting, and the fact that you guys have tenacity. So congratulations. Take that forward with you. Seniors, juniors, continue the trend to next year. And sophomores, we're just excited to have you here. So congratulations, ladies. Good job.
Mr. President, if I may. So ladies, over my lifetime, I've had a lot of opportunities to see basketball games, to watch high school games, college games, even professional games. And, as I think about the game against Edinburgh High School, and we were up there watching that game, I don't think I've seen a more exciting game than I did that night. It was just, if you were able to see us, we were all jumping up and down that night. It was just a great night. But my proudest moment as I've watched you all was actually the game against Judson. And I think about that game because as I was watching you all play, there was just this no-quit attitude in y'all. Just the drive to be the best that you could be regardless of what the situation was. So I just want to extend my congratulations to you for all the work that you've done. And girls, I can't wait till next season. I think we're going to be seeing some fantastic experiences, some even more exciting games as we look down the road. So thank you all for everything you did this season and just for making us so very proud of you all, just representing our school district so well. So thank you all so very much.
I was up in those suites watching, and I was standing next to Shane, that Edinburgh game. And I don't know if we've ever jumped that high. Maybe Shane has, I know I haven't. But that was exciting. And there's something to be said for, the tenacity and the memory of your last game, but that moment is a moment that's not just going to live on with you all forever, but for the fans that were there especially, for your family, for your coaches. It's those games that kind of define a program. I covered sports for many years for the local newspaper, and you could almost always pinpoint a moment in time when a program kind of turns a corner and just heads for greatness, establishes a dynasty per se. And to you seniors that are graduating, you had a lot to do with that. Over the last few years, You've had a lot to do with establishing this program and bringing it back to prominence. And for the underclassmen, the juniors, the sophomores that are still playing, it's a lot of responsibility. It's a big task, but it's one that you know in your hearts that you can tackle and take this program to the next level where you want to take it, you know, getting to the Final Four and accomplishing all those dreams. To Coach Mon and your staff, you know, congratulations, because like somebody said, you were handed the time, but you have to know what to do with it. You know, I know there's a lot of off-season work with that Triple-Double Academy too, so there's a lot of credit goes to a lot of people for this success. But it's you that are sitting there with your white polos, enjoying this meeting like I know you are. But it's you all that deserve the credit too, most of the credit with your coaches, because you guys really took a huge step this year in establishing the Lady Cardinal dynasty. So congratulations. Very proud of you all. Thank you. We'll move on now to item 2D, the recognition of PTSA Students of the Month for April, Ms. Brianna Villa Garcia.
Well, good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola, administration, and audience. Tonight I will be recognizing our April PTSA Students of the Month. I'm definitely excited to have some of them here in person with us tonight. And our students are actively involved in extracurriculars, part-time jobs, so we also have some students joining us via Zoom. The ones on Zoom, can you all turn on your cameras to wave hi? Awesome. It's definitely exciting to have everyone here with us. Our Students of the Month represent the PTSAs of Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and Harlingen School of Health Professions. You all may notice a new flair to the video tonight and a different look. The video is produced by our HCISD video team's newest member, Jason Johnston, and the video will be available to watch publicly on YouTube following this board meeting. So we hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Haley Rogers. I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I'm a member of the varsity cheerleading squad since I was a sophomore. I am in NHS since I was a sophomore, student council, and PTSA. I am very passionate about helping people. I love seeing other people succeed and do well in everything that they want to do, and that makes me very happy. I like helping my classmates with their schoolwork, my sisters with their schoolwork. I just like seeing other people succeed in any way possible. I'm planning on going to the University of Texas at Austin. I want to major in public relations and eventually become a public relations specialist for the NFL. It's just something that I've always wanted to do, and my whole family loves watching football, so I grew up watching football since I was little, so it's very exciting. I'd like to thank my mom, my stepdad, all of my sisters, my grandmas, and I would like to thank my favorite teacher, Mr. Fonseca, from sophomore year. All of my teachers this year, actually, because I know it's a really hard year, and they've done an awesome job.
Hi, my name is Ruben Garcia. I attend Harlingen High School, and I'm a 12th grader there. I'm a member of the PTSA and NHS2, or in NHS I hold the position Public Relations, and I also play baseball, part of the Harlingen Cardinals baseball team. I play center field. I've played all 4 years, but I've lettered 2 years. I'm passionate about learning about the different muscle groups because I do enjoy working out a lot, and in order to better myself, I try to research different exercises and what to eat, what to feed your body, because I know it's really important. They say gains are mainly made in the kitchen. I do plan to attend the University of Texas at San Antonio to earn a bachelor's in either community health or health science. And then after, I plan to attend graduate school and pursue my career of becoming a physician assistant. So one of my cousins ended up pursuing the career, and along the way, I followed him on the journey to see what it was all about. And I ended up enjoying it a lot. He would tell us what he would do and what he went through, and it was a lot, but I mean, that's kind of what I'm interested in. I enjoy helping people, and that's something I do want to pursue. I first wanted to thank my parents for being my biggest supporters and always pushing me to do my best. I also want to thank my friends, coaches, and teachers for being there for me along the way.
My name is Kennedy Kibler. I'm in 12th grade and I go to Harlingen High School South. Currently, I'm two-year president of FBLA. I'm NHS vice president. I'm HOSA president, and I'm also in PTSA, student council, and AP Science Club. I'm very passionate about my grades and my future. I'm very passionate about tennis, and I'm just really excited for college. I plan on attending the University of Texas at Austin in the McCombs Honors Program. So I'll be studying business, probably a double major in economics, and then I hope to attend law school after and become a lawyer. I think I'd like to thank all of the teachers I've had over the years. All of them have been really good supporters and influencers and have taught me a lot outside of just academics. They've taught me to be a better person and a better person in school. So I've had a really good experience overall at HCIC.
My name is Amy Trevino. I go to Harlingen South. I'm a senior. I'm currently a National Honor Society member. I am the girl varsity track captain and the varsity cheerleading captain. I love to dance. I've been dancing since I was 3. Running, definitely. For track, I did cross country for 4 years, 7th and 8th grade, and then freshman and sophomore year. And I like to be organized. That's like a passion of mine, to just stay organized and stay on top of everything. And I like being with friends, of course. I am planning on going to the University of Texas in San Antonio and majoring in kinesiology and in hopes to get into the respiratory care program in order to become a respiratory therapist. I want to thank my track coaches, definitely from HCISD, Coach Cruz. She's always been a big motivator for me, always pushing me to my best and just working hard in everything that I do.
My name is Jacob Rodriguez. I'm in the 12th grade. I'm a senior at Early College High School. I'm in the National Honor Society, and I'm the historian, and I have a job at Raising Cane's Chicken. I've worked at Raising Cane's for about 2.5 months now. I'm passionate about forming connections. When I'm not doing work, I like talking to people, forming connections, because I think that's the best way you can spend your time is just learning about others. There's so much else besides books and stuff. The world's so big, and I don't want to look going through my point of view. I kind of want to see what others think and how they see the world. I plan on going to the University of Texas A&M in College Station, and I plan on majoring in business and accounting. Career-wise, I maybe want to start as an accountant, and then maybe later move up to something like CFO, something where I'll have I'll be in a position where I can make decisions. I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of numbers. My brain works really well with numbers. The one teacher that I'd like to thank is Mrs. DeLeon. She was my 6th grade math teacher, and when I moved to Harlingen, I moved here in the 6th grade, and I started off the year going into her class first period, and I didn't know anyone or anything about Harlingen, and she just kind of welcomed me to everywhere. It was a nice introduction to everything. I'm glad I started my year off with her and my whole school career off with her.
Hi, my name is Samantha Gonzalez, and I'm a senior at Early College High School. I am involved in NHS. I am the secretary. I'm also involved in student council, class cabinet. I am the treasurer, and yearbook. I'm a photographer. I would say I enjoy most yearbook because since this year is a little bit different, I get to edit the yearbook. Last year I was just a photographer, so I would just take pictures, but this time I do get to put in my little effects, I guess you could say. So that would be my favorite. I am passionate about helping others, and I enjoy reading a lot. I'm starting like a little mini library. I only have like 30 books, but I do enjoy reading. I plan on attending Texas State in the fall. I already chose my dorm. I want to major in political science so I can become a immigration lawyer for my future. I don't really see that much representation for immigrants coming here, and they're always like, I feel like they always get the negative or the short end of the stick, so I really want to help them grow. People have a lot of good intentions. Not everyone is bad, and I just really want to give them the opportunity. I would love to thank Ms. Poppy. She is no longer with us at Early College High School, but she encouraged me to push myself and really taught me how to manage myself. So I want to thank her so much. Another one would be my family, my mom especially, because she does encourage me and pushes me to do my best. She's my motivation.
Torrance. I'm a senior at Harvard School of Professionals. An activity I'm in is band, and I play percussion in some clubs that we're in, is Rotary and American Red Cross. I'm passionate about sports and music. It really helped me get away from things and just open new doors to things. I plan on going to school in San Antonio, UTSA or Texas A&M San Antonio. As far as studying, I think I'm going to choose the major in biology, but I know I'm going undecided. And but after, hopefully I choose a major and just go on a career for that. Some people I want to thank here just inspired me along my life, or definitely my grandparents and teachers. They really inspired me to push myself, my limits, even though sometimes I feel unmotivated. Especially during these times right now, it's going to be hard, but they keep pushing me forward to do my best. And the staff and my friends, just everyone in my life, I want to thank them for having me out.
My name is Sasha Lucio. I'm a senior at Harvard School of Health Professions. I'm a part of the LVN program, NHS. I'm part of class council. I've been treasurer for 4 years, and I am a dancer at Rio Grande Valley Art Studio. I'm passionate about kindness, so everywhere I go I try to advocate to be kind to others because you don't know what they're going through. I plan on attending the University of Texas in Rio Grande Valley, and I plan on majoring in nutrition, so I plan on becoming a nutritionist. The people I'd like to thank, well, first my family, and then after that, I'd like to thank Mr. Becerra. He's always been such an amazing teacher.
In addition to our recognizing our students a month, I noticed we have some family members in the audience. Can y'all stand to be recognized as well? Thank you. We're going to take a Zoom photo real quick with our students that are joining us virtually. So students, if you can turn on your cameras.
Okay, on the count of 3, everyone smile, or look at your iPad and YouTube, Brianna, because you're in it too. You have to look at your computer.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Got it?
Awesome. All right, so we want to thank the Harlingen City Council PTA for celebrating our Students of the Month. I'd like to invite the organization's president, Elias Ortega, to join us. And Mr. Hymas and Dr. Noyola, if you could join us as well for photo recognition. As students, as I call your name, please come up to the front for a photo. From Harlingen High School, we have Haley Rogers. Also from Harlingen High School, we have Ruben Garcia. From Harlingen High School South, we have Amy Trevino. And on Zoom this evening, we have Kennedy Kibler. For Early College High School, our students are Jacob Rodriguez. Not here in the audience tonight, but give him a round of applause. We also have Samantha Gonzalez, so we'll give her a big round of applause as well. From Harlingen School of Health Professions, we have Andrew Torres. And joining us on Zoom is Sasha Lucio, also from Harlingen School of Health Professions. Awesome. I'd like to invite our board forward for a group photo. Oh, and parents, y'all can come take photos. Now wait right there real quick. You can go down the table. Awesome.
One, two, and three.
Mr. President?
Go ahead, Dr. Reiniger.
Thank you. So, first off, we are so happy to get to recognize our Students of the Month in person and virtually to do a little mix-up here. And so, we're welcome. We are so proud of you. I felt like this group had this, you all were so well-spoken, you're so polished, and then this, there really just exudes this confidence and kindness. And Sasha brought that up actually in her presentation. But congratulations! I can just tell you're just stellar people. So parents, great job. You made it all happen and brought that out. I think it showcases how HCISD, we can do tennis, we can do riding, we can do dancing, track, baseball. You grabbed on to whatever your passion was and really made it happen. And so I'm so proud of our district that we just have these opportunities, and you're so smart because you took advantage of them. And, I think one of the neatest things was one of you talked about coming here in 6th grade and meeting a teacher that made a difference and welcomed you. And the teacher was De Leon, Miss De Leon. And so, Sasha, you've got the right point. Kindness matters, right? And the way you all are holding yourself and thinking about others, it made a difference. That's just one example of the many. Anyway, I could go on and on about you because we're so proud of you. Congratulations. I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
President.
Dr. Muniz?
Yes, congratulations to all of you, all the hard work. I love seeing all these great things that are going on. I mean, we see UT, UTSA, we see law school, we see kinesiology, we see water polo. Guys are having fun doing that. Texas A&M. Did I say Texas A&M?
You did.
Did I say Texas A&M? Just making sure. Texas State, we see, of course, UTRGV. Just amazing things going on with all of you, Samantha and Andrew. It's fantastic. Did I say University of Texas?
No, you did, but I'm glad you did.
Oh, I'm just making sure we said TU. Oh, I mean, University of Texas. Fantastic, fantastic. It's exciting to see you guys do so well. And it's exciting to see what your activities are. And again, being leaders, you guys are future leaders. You guys are going to be amazing. Whether it's in our community or some other community, you have got some great stuff going on. So continue to be successful. Congratulations.
Mr. President, may I also add a comment, please?
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, kudos and congratulations to these extraordinary students. It's truly remarkable to see the breadth of all of the experiences that you have had. And as my colleagues have commented, you've taken such wonderful advantage of them, and you've taken yourselves to such heights that it truly is noteworthy. It truly is noteworthy. I would also like to add one more point, and that is, listening to your stories tonight, one has to reflect upon the mass of opportunities of choice that are now offered by HCISD, and the transformation that this district has undergone so successfully in the last, say, 6 to 10 years, and most recently in the last several years. It is really a story that I hope is being told across the state and across the nation as each district studies itself, but I'm not sure that's true. I believe that something really remarkable has been happening in the Harlingen School District in the last several years. And it, I believe, is because of a coming together of wonderful people, wonderful families, a wonderfully supportive community, extraordinary district leadership, and it is my honor to serve with a team of board members who have been laser focused on creating multiple opportunities for success for our students. And then to see the students just jump right in and take advantage of every single one of them gives me chills. I actually had chills tonight watching all of you students and thinking, what an honor it is just to know you, but also what an honor it is to be in the Harlingen School District. So thank you to all of our administrators over the years who have helped us pull this together. Thank you to this extraordinary board. Thank you to the most fabulous families anywhere in this country. Thank you to a wonderfully supportive business community and all the partnerships, the university partnerships. A story is being created here, and we tell it to one another frequently because we are living in it. I hope this story is written in a book someday. And if so, the stars are the students we've seen tonight. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fleury. I just want to say congratulations as well and echo what my fellow trustee said. Someone said, well, Ms. Fleury just talked about a story, you know, writing your own story. And even though you're seniors and it seems like this is the end of something, but it's really just the beginning for you all. And that's what's really exciting for us, you know, to see that each one of you has a unique path, your own journey that you're going to embark on. And we're just excited for you guys, just like we're excited for the Students of the Month for March, and we'll be for the ones for May. All our students here at HISD, we're just excited for those journeys that you're going to embark on. And We congratulate you all. We're happy for your parents, your families that are here, that, big reason why you all are so successful. So congratulations again. Next, we'll move on to item number 3, approval of minutes. Item 3A, the March 9th, 2021 public hearing. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. President, I move approval of the March 9th, 2021 public hearing minutes.
Second the motion.
We have a motion by Dr. Reiniger and a second by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We have item 3B, the March 9th, 2021 regular board meeting.
Mr. President, I'd make a motion to approve the regular board meeting as presented.
Second?
Second the motion.
We have a motion by Dr. Bob Muniz and a second by Dr. Nolan Perez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 4, the principal's report. Today we have Mr. Fernando Reyes from Harlingen High School South. Mr. Reyes? You know what? You get an applause too, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just let me get set up here. Okay, I think I'm set. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Oyola, and administration. Thank you for having me here today. I feel very honored that I get to present on the college-going readiness at Harlingen High School South. Of course, so anytime a principal gets a chance to brag on their campus, that's definitely a good opportunity. So even in times of COVID has made things more difficult than we normally have them, but we have continued to push through, and I'm excited to show you what we're doing because we're really proud of our work. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get going. So creating a college-going culture. What have we done to create that college-going atmosphere at Harlingen High School South? And really creating a college atmosphere is all making kids believe that they can go to school, they can go to the next level, and they can succeed in college. And that's what we're all about. So beginning with the events that we have at school, it's been a hot tradition that for the last 6 years, 100% of the senior class not only applies, but is accepted into college. And so we know that there's always some kids that believe they can't get it, but we make all kids believe you can get it, and these are your offers, these are your opportunities. This is what you can do with your time after high school. So we take time to celebrate that as a campus, and we were going to take the picture after spring break of last school year, and we didn't get that opportunity, but I did include the last 2 pictures that we had, where we had the day that we get 100% is the day we announce it, and then from that day we schedule a group photo of the entire senior class to celebrate the momentous occasion. And of course, I have a little picture there of how we entice kids to apply. We tell them about all the great opportunities, but those kids are carrying some pie. Pie never hurt the opportunity to apply to college. So we tell them no pie until you apply. So we get,
There you go.
yeah. The other thing we do to promote that college-going culture is we have our own kids showcase their colleges to the 8th graders. And so we have the 8th grade college and career fair. It's a South tradition that promotes a college culture for future generations of South Hawks. And our own kids put it on, and they create tables, and they create stands, and they showcase to the 8th graders where they're going to go to school, what they're going to study. And the purpose of this is to get these 8th graders in the right mindset that you're coming to South, but this isn't the end of the road. Look at what our seniors are doing. You're going to be there one day. You're going to be presenting to future generations of 8th graders and explaining to them what it is to get into Texas A&M, UT, Texas A&M, St. Mary's. And this is just one example, and the kids have a blast with it. They talk about the importance of getting into college, and really, when a kid hears it from another student, it's just all more powerful. So we've been doing this for the last few years, and it's a great tradition that we definitely want to continue. We can't wait to get back to normal. The other thing is celebrating collegiate athletics. So this has been done for a long time, but I think our campus does it very well. We've had the opportunity to send multiple kids off to college. And for some kids, this is the way, this is the path to get into college, and that's great because they're going to get the best of both worlds. They're going to do what they love to do, but they're also going to walk out of there with an education. So anytime we have a chance to celebrate that, we do it. So it's not all about pictures and pretty things. It's also about getting down to the work. And so through the help of Dr. Noyola a few years back, we discovered that, hey, we really want to get this college readiness distinction. We want to make sure we're in a good place. So Dr. Noyola started speaking to me about the importance of setting up systems to track progress. And that's exactly what we've done. And we've been able to earn that distinction for college readiness for the last few years. And we're super excited about that. This is something that we've been doing for a while. But we have systems in place to ensure that kids are TSI ready. What are those systems? I'm not going to show you the charts and the graphs, but our counseling staff tracks the number of students that have passed the TSI. And of course, everybody here knows that TSI is an exam that kids take in order to get into college. If they don't pass this exam, they got to do remedial courses. Our goal is to get every kid TSI ready before they leave Harlingen South. And so our math department at their weekly meetings has a chart by teacher, and their goal, they have a weekly goal to get kids TSI ready. And so they do a number of tutorials, they do a number of curriculum planning, they do TSI within the classroom as do-nows and activities to make sure kids are ready for college. So that college-going mindset doesn't just come from the college and career room, but it also comes from the math classes and the English classes themselves. And of course, we've established, through the support of Dr. Villarreal, we've established a weekly TSI lab where students take their TSI on a daily basis. Our systems and processes for the advanced placement program. So we've been very fortunate in that our AP program has flourished in the last few years. And what I mean by flourish is that we've increased the number of AP scholars consistently. And AP scholars basically means that kids are graduating with college credit. So this is one avenue that kids could graduate with college credit from, and this avenue is the AP program. So kids get to challenge courses or challenge tests in courses that they feel strong in. And in some schools, AP's for the few. In our school, AP's for the many. And that's our goal, to bring this opportunity to everybody. And I wanted to put this quote here because it really embodies what the philosophy we have for our AP program at Harlingen South. And the philosophy is, our hope is that the AP program can serve as an anchor for increasing rigor in our schools. And rigor can be maintained while increasing student participation, and that's the goal. Rigor is not just for the select few, rigor is for all. And so the AP program success that we've seen throughout the year, we have 600 college hours earned through the AP program in the most recent school year. This latest academic year, we had 1 national AP scholar, which is a tremendous distinction, 7 AP scholars with distinctions, 5 AP scholars with honor, and 24 AP scholars. And this year, in the midst of COVID and not having kids and trying to get them registered, we nearly broke a record, and we have 623 kids registered to take the AP exams. Kids gotta wanna take this. Kids gotta wanna say, okay, I'm gonna sign up for this test. And that takes a little bit of work, but we showed that even in times of COVID, our systems and processes were so established that we were still able to hit the registration marks because kids know the importance of it. Kids know that this is important for my future. So we have an AP PLC where we meet monthly and we track our goals, we track our progress, and most recently, through the help of Dr. Villarreal, we're making sure that our teachers are on board with AP College Board progress checks, because those progress checks are really indicative of a kid being successful on the actual AP exam. So those are just a few of our systems and processes for AP scholars. That's our most recent celebration there of the AP scholars. And a few of my teachers tell me that it's been a rough year. And they want that human interaction. And I had a teacher just tell me 3 weeks ago, he walked by and he's like, hey, Mr. Reyes. I'm like, hey, Mr. Gilitzer, how you doing? He's like, I just had to go by and look at that banner because I really miss the kids. And without that human interaction, I just needed to remember that I'm doing this for them. I'm like, that's great. That's great. You know, I want to hear it. And our teachers are invested. This is what they want to do. Our partnership with TSC is another pathway for kids to earn dual credit, and we're very proud to offer both. I'm not going to go through this entire list, but we have a great partnership with TSC. And this one is dependent on teachers having a master's degree. So for the hiring of our teachers, we're always looking to hire teachers with master's degree because we want to give teachers, we want to give kids the best opportunity possible. So these are just some of the courses. And a few of the statistics from this last school year, we had 2,146 college hours earned per school year, or in the last school year at Harlingen South. A total of 337 students earned college credit. And so that's a huge number when you really think about our population and the opportunities that we're giving kids. And once kids earn credit in one course, they figure out, I can do this. I can do this, and I'm going to keep pushing forward, and that's our goal. So our systems and processes for SAT Academy. We've always had SAT tutorials. We've always had kids seeking support for SAT in various formats, and we're in the process of making it more systemic. We don't want to rely on any single one person. We want to rely on systems. And so we're in the process of redesigning our SAT Academy to be systemic. It's not about, hey, who wants to do tutoring here, who wants to do, no. It's a system that we need to build, and we're in the process of building that system, even in times of COVID. So phase one of that system for the current school year, we had tremendous success with the SAT Academy. And what I mean by academy is that all our teachers are taking time outside of class to put on an academy for SAT for all the kids. And that's a new concept for us because it's never been that way. It's always been one teacher here, one teacher here, one teacher there. But we're looking for a system to where it's not dependent on any one person staying or leaving within the organization. And so that's a little bit about our redesign. Phase two, we're going to target students that test in June 5th. And the plan is below, and our teachers came up with this plan, they love the plan, and they know that the right resources to get there. Phase three is where they target students that are registered to test August 28th. With any luck, we can apply for the Beyond the Bell summer program to make sure that our kids have the opportunity to prepare over the summer. And the phase four, which is beginning the next school year, we're going to make sure that we have targeted supports for any SAT administration that comes our way. And so that's our goal, and that's what we've done, and that's where we're going, and we're just very excited about the progress. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you, everybody, and if anybody has any questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Well,
Let me stop sharing.
I forgot to push record.
well,
Harlingen South has offered a lot of different courses, including a lot of AP courses, to be specific. I took, I believe, 6 exams last year, and I passed 5 out of the 6, so those are all college credit that I get to take into my freshman year next year, which was very helpful. South has also offered a lot of college and career advice within our college and career department. Our application process was definitely a little more difficult this year because we couldn't come on campus to do it, but our counselors were really helpful and they told us everything we needed to do, and they offered a lot of Zooms for like financial aid and essay writing, so that was also very helpful. Our teachers also wrote like recommendations and were pretty quick with getting back to us about those and the different things that we would need for them to write those, which was obviously a good component to have for our application, so that was very helpful.
Well, my mom, she had me in high school. She actually had me while she graduated, so she never got the chance to go to college, and her main goal was for me to, she's worked so hard, and her main goal was for me to go to college. So that's been one of my inspirations. I also want to be an inspiration to my sisters and my family members, because there's a bunch of young of us, and not a lot of us have gone to college, maybe one member or two. But yes, and I also want to get a good future, a good career, because my mom does struggle. I've seen her struggle, and I just want to get a good job to help her out.
Well, honestly, at Harlingen South, I feel like the environment was really collaborative, and so there was competition, but everyone worked together to help bring each other up so we could all succeed together. So I think that was really good. In my opinion, all the classes have prepared me for college because each teacher has provided a different view, a different opinion, and different style of teaching. It has helped me grow as a person and help prepare me for different life experiences in college.
For starters, we work really closely with our English 4 teachers, our senior teachers. So since the beginning of the year when we started doing our college and career presentations and all the English 4 classes. We did college application drives through their classes as well. So we would visit through their Zoom links, and we would be there pretty much all day to try to get all of the students. We've also hosted college recruiters here through our college and career room. This year, all of those presentations were virtual, so all on Zoom, but we did have pretty much every college in Texas represented at some point throughout the year. So when I start off the semester right in the beginning of school, right, I have the kids do a project so they can focus on what they want to do after graduation. So they do this interest survey on mynextmove.org. And in there, they take, it's like a little quiz. They take in at the end, it gives them options, career options that are based off of their interests. But once they go into the careers, they click on it, on a career that they choose, and it'll give them information like what skills they need, what education they need to get into. It'll tell them the job lookout, like if there's growth or what their salary will be. So it gives them kind of like an overview of everything. So they have to kind of fit their characteristics, like, okay, is this something that I can do? Do I, can I follow any of these like guidelines that are there?
For the SAT, my department has tried to integrate into our classroom, doing do-nows mostly, and we just started a new initiative by offering an SAT review session by the whole math department during our POC during asynchronous time for the students, and we had our first session yesterday, and we hope to have 4 more this month before the April 27th and May 8th administration. We just try to incorporate, what mathematics is needed in what different areas. So, we tell them, you might be, if you're an engineer, you do want to focus on the higher level math. Of course, statistics, everybody needs statistics. So, we do try to encourage, by providing the different kinds of careers that are out there that use math.
Wow.
And so if Mr. President, Board Trustees, Dr. Noyola, if you all have any questions, I'd be glad to.
Sure, I'll open it up to the dais.
Mr. President?
Dr. Wenez, go ahead.
Yeah, fantastic presentation, fantastic information to see how, you've got a big, large program over there.
Yeah.
And I think for me, you hit something, you hit a nerve with me as far as emotions, in the example you talk about your teachers or your one teacher wanting to see that picture. Yeah, I think we all want to see our students back in the classroom. And we want that done safely as soon as possible. So you bring up a good point that, hey, we miss our students. It was great to see our students in here tonight on a limited number of students in here. So thank you for mentioning that story, because really we're wanting to do that. We want our students back in the classroom. Thank you for discussing the systems for the TSI reading, the partnerships with TSC. The fantastic on the Prep Academy with the redesign, and the fact that we have had 337 dual credit hours. Is that dual credits?
That's 337. I think it was students.
Students
Yeah.
actually get dual credit. That's fantastic. That's just so promising. So thank you for sharing all this information. Great presentation.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Reininger?
So, Mr. Reyes, thank you so much for what you do as a leader at this school. I love that you talk about systems. There is nothing more important from the leader, from Dr. Villarreal, from Dr. Noyola. You all have it down pat, and then you are just, you have this team who sees it and is bringing the vision to life. When we don't do that, we miss out on on student opportunities. And so thank you so much for your leadership, for seeing that in every place, from the beginning of school, you gave examples. From day one, I start here on this, to the end. From this department to this department, at every level, you're looking for ways to connect kids so that they're ready and they're excited about college. So thank you so much for that, because it sets a standard for all of HCISD to look at system change. So I love the description of it that you gave. Mr. Gillitzer is one of many great teachers, and so thank you for sharing that story, and offer our thanks to him as well. South is doing great things, and it's under your leadership and you know, through Dr. Nyola's guidance, so thank you so much.
Thank you. If I may say, Mr. President, I don't feel like I deserve any of it. I think it's the great people at Harlingen South and the leadership that guides me, because I do have great mentors in Dr. Noyola and Dr. Villarreal and just everybody that supports me, Ms. Parker, just everybody. So I'm just in a blessed position. But thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Fleury, you're on mute?
Yes, I apologize. Can't always hear you exactly. I just wanted to.
You're on mute again.
All right, say it again.
Ms. Fleury, you went on mute.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Ma'am.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
unmuted twice, it just didn't work. I guess I didn't click hard enough. Mr. Reyes, I wanted to say thank you very, very much. And I would like for you to take that back, please, to your staff for all that you are doing. You know, as you were speaking, I kept thinking of words like intentionality and specificity and inspirational and collaborative. You've got it together. You know, you've got it together. The reason that you can work in systems is because you have created a structure that allows systems to flourish. And I remember many years ago, we had a good friend who was the father of our daughter's college roommate. And he was high school principal and was written up in the Smithsonian Magazine. And so we called him immediately and said, what did you do? What made the difference? What did you do? Of all the schools in the nation, his was written up in the Smithsonian. It was an odd article for the Smithsonian, but that's where it was. And he said, one special thing, Jerry, one special change we made was that we began providing opportunities and encouragement for our teachers to work together within their departments to plan for the students. He said, that's it. That's the foundational piece. And that's what you're doing at South. So one of these days you may be in the Smithsonian. But thank you so much. We really appreciate it and keep up the fabulous work. Districts all over the country would want to come visit and find out what you're doing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Fleury. Dr. Noel?
So I'll be brief, but, you know, Fernando, you've been with us now for a few years, and one of the things I'm so proud of is part of the work that you've done, but just never leaving things to chance, and being very intentional about the work that we do. Over the years, I've seen you all take a roster of all of your kids and go one by one by one, and what are we doing for this child, and what are we doing for this next child? And so when we talk about individualizing in our school system, you've been doing that now for a number of years. And so you've really led that charge and really have modeled what we as a district really value, and that's being accountable for every child that we teach here in our school district. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for all the work that your administrative team and your entire staff has done. You know, when we talk about being a step above, that's truly what you have done for your campus. So thank you so very much for all of your work.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. And to your point earlier where you said, you know, you don't take all the credit. You deserve a lot of the credit, but you're right. You have a team that's guiding you and a team that you're leading that has a lot to do with this what you guys are doing there with college readiness. And I really like that you're including the 8th graders coming in, you know, because I think you said it, that nobody has a bigger influence on them than one of their, you know, an older brother, sister type that they may look up to, you know. And if they're talking about college, then to them as 8th graders, that's already going to be implemented into their, instilled in their mind, and they'll go into high school already thinking that, because there's a lot of kids like Destiny whose families didn't go to college. You know, I know my family didn't go to college, so it's not something that gets talked about at the dinner table a lot, right, growing up. So there's a lot of families like that. So I'm very happy that you all are, you know, doing that for them. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to item number 5, public comments for agenda topics. Sonia, do we have public comments for agenda topics?
No, sir, we do not.
All right. Item number 6 is public audience for non-agenda topics.
Yes, sir, we do have one request, and Mr. Jesus Mendoza has requested to be allowed to speak to the board via telephone, and Mr. Shane Strubart has him on the line.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. President, I'm going to bring him into the Zoom and then make sure he's on, and I'll turn it over to you, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Mendoza, can you hear us? Okay, Mr. Mendoza.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Mr. Jaimes, our board president, was going to explain the public comments to you, okay?
Okay, someone is going to explain to me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jaimes, our board president, will explain the rules for public comments.
Thank you.
Okay, before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public audience for non-agenda topics. Anyone who wants to speak during public audience for non-agenda topics must sign up prior to the start of the meeting and list the non-agenda subject they wish to discuss. All speakers will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board. Any public testimony speaker who is speaking through a translator will receive up to 6 minutes to address the board. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board shall allot no more than 30 minutes for speakers on items not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments or criticism civil and courteous. Please also avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own child. Yelling, inappropriate, uncivil, or discriminatory comments will not be permitted. In the event your comment, in the judgment of the presiding officer, constitutes a complaint or charge against an employee or officer, it may be necessary for me to interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the school district's formal grievance procedures, or to have the item heard in executive session, depending on the nature of the complaint. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process, which can be found online and include policies DGBA, FNG, and GF. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or in the central administration offices. I will now assign Ms. Brown to be our timekeeper for 3 minutes. And Mr. Mendoza, you can now start.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jesus Mendoza, and my phone number is 956-583-7012. I have been homebound for more than 10 years with life-threatening electrosensitivity, EHS, which is caused and aggravated by exposure to the same wireless microwave radiation reaching children and teachers at school. My EHS has been recognized by federal and state agencies and by courts as a physical medical condition and as a disability. It is estimated that without knowing, more than 50% of the population is already suffering symptoms of EHS. Children, teachers, doctors, attorneys, and even a director of the World Health Organization are suffering from EHS. Please see wearetheevidence.org. Despite that EHS is reaching pandemic proportions, most doctors are in the dark or in denial and continue misdiagnosing and mistreating with harmful drugs and invasive procedure symptoms that disappear with just reducing exposure to microwave radiation. A law firm filed a federal lawsuit with evidence of how the cell phones used by their children emit more than 5 times the levels allowed by federal law, when even short doses of radiation above the federal safety limits causes harm even to healthy and strong adults. And several law firms are warning school officials of the potential civil and criminal liability of exposing children unnecessarily to harmful microwave radiation when an expensive hardwired internet is readily available. According to experts, electrosensitivity is not an isolated set of symptoms, but ongoing injuries to the immunological neurological system, which are progressively aggravated to irreversibility by exposure to microwave radiation. Some of the symptoms of EHS include pain, swelling of vital organs, swelling of face, hand, head and eye symptoms, heart attack and stroke, rashes and loss of skin, flu and allergy symptoms, and stomach, sleeping, vision, hearing, memory, speech, concentration and breathing problems, headaches, palpitations, arrhythmias, chest pain, high and low blood pressure, seizures, paralysis, unconsciousness, nose bleeding, internal bleeding, fever, tremors, dizziness, nausea, irritability, depression, anxiety, fatigue, muscle and joint pain, painful cramps, numbness, tooth pain, gum swelling and blisters, burning and dry eyes, eye pressure, blurred vision, asthma, testicular and ovarian pain, dry lips, tongue and mouth, inordinate thirst, altered sugar levels, impaired sense of smell, miscarriages and birth defects. Scientific studies prove that doctors are confounding the symptoms of EHS with symptoms of other illnesses, including autism, ADHD, dyslexia, PTSD, and heart attack and stroke, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, diabetes, and major depression and suicidal tendencies, as detailed by the request to protect our children submitted to the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education, Dr. Miguel Cardona, and posted on the case materials of J. Mendoza of wirelesswatchblog.org, wirelesswatchblog.org. My name is Jesus Mendoza, and my phone number is 956-583-7012. Thank you very much for the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 7, approval of consent calendar. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. President, I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Reiniger and a second by Mr. Powers. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 8, matters relating to transformation and school support. Item 8A, Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee Report. Dr. Niola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last Tuesday, April 6th, we held our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee meeting. We brought forward 2 topics. The first topic was a pretty exciting one. We spent time talking about our UT-RGV Early College High School partnership. That presentation very much appropriately titled The Beginning of a New Era, as we partner with UT-RGV to provide pathways for our students into a bachelor's degree. Mrs. Veronica Corton presented on that topic. As part of that presentation, we talked about this tri-agency partnership that has developed between the school district, UT-RGV, as well as the city of Harlingen as they helped us in the development of this whole initiative. During the presentation, we shared the tentative school name, and so by the way, we will be bringing that forward next month to codify approval of the name for this campus. As part of that presentation, we also had a tremendous opportunity to take a virtual tour of what this new campus will look like, which is not too far away when we will be opening those doors to our students. As part of that virtual tour, we got to see what the front entrance would look like, our learning stairs, the Information Literacy Center, some of the common areas that would be available for our students. The opportunity in looking at the outdoor learning spaces that will be a unique aspect of the campus. Saw the second floor of that facility. Just a really tremendous opportunity to look at construction virtually, and so it's amazing what technology now facilitates. And then as part of that presentation, we also had an opportunity to talk about all the people that have really come together to make this facility top-notch for our students, from the work of Oscar Tapia and his department, our Julia Cavazos, his staff, David Monreal, the communications specialist with Roland Ansaldúa and what he has designed for us. So a number of people, Judy Baker, and obviously Mrs. Veronica Corton, as she has guided this process. So a really exciting opportunity, and just can't, every day as we see the work increasing and what the reality is actually going to look like, just makes us anxious to get that underway. Our students, provided that everything is en route, our students will be entering a brand new facility when we start this school year. So I know they are just as anxious. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Pam Flores. The leadership that she has provided in the current facility has been amazing, and I just can't wait to see where she takes that campus as we move with our partnership with UTRGV. The second presentation, and so we've had a lot of conversation on our second presentation, the teacher incentive allotment. We are, I guess it's been 6 or 7 months in the work, and so the final product actually will be shared with the board in a little bit, but we had an opportunity to see all the different facets as we have done over the last number of months. Mrs. Garcia shared with us the product of the Realizing Our Dream individual teacher report, and that really is the big rubric that will be utilized as we identify teachers for the allotment. We talked about teacher leadership, teacher observation, and student growth as part of that instrument. We talked a lot about, as we talked about earlier with Mr. Reyes, about being very intentional and individualizing instruction for students. We talked about the product that we will be using to do that, the NWA MAPS program, that really not only allows us to systemically track the success of students and monitor them from the time they enter our school system till they are seniors in high school, and really be able to look at that progress. But in addition to that, the opportunity to really customize and individualize instruction for our students. And then we also highlighted how TIA is going to positively impact the recruitment and retention of our teachers. And so later this evening, we will bring forward the final presentation around TIA. Our goal is to submit our plan later next week, so that we can get that out. Certainly it will go to Texas Tech so that they can evaluate and so forth, and then we'll await hopefully approval of our plan and then begin implementation next year. I just want to acknowledge Gracie Gutierrez and Dr. Daryl Mickle, who have been our researchers in the project and really made sure that as we were going through this process that we were using the very best learning that was out there to guide our work. They have just been fantastic in that process. And then I want to acknowledge several members of our senior team who have really guided this process. Mr. Shane Strubhart, Mrs. Lori Romero, Mrs. Dalia Garcia, Dr. Joseph Villarreal, and Mrs. Corton. Just tremendous work that they have done throughout this year. The 7 months have produced the best product that I have seen as I have looked at other school districts. And so just really excited at where our profession of teachers is going to be elevated as we look into the future. Dr. Belinda Reiniger chairs our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee, and so Dr. Reiniger, I'll turn it over to you for any additional comments.
Thank you, Dr. Noyola. And once again, a great Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee. The agenda is always full, and it's always full of exciting topics. It really, the facility, seeing our next high school facility come to life in a virtual tour, made it very clear that we will have a facility that's second to none. It is a tremendous learning facility. We are going, our kids are going to be so excited to be in there. Rolando Ansaldúa did an amazing job working with the UTRGV graphics team. The structure and then the design, top to bottom, floor to ceiling, every element of it is absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to have this open where we get to invite our community in to see this and have the kids. And you're right, Dr. Flores has done just a tremendous job in guiding that and making sure that it's going to be that learning community that she wants. So really exciting there. And then I will keep my comments minimal on the teacher incentive allotment, only because I know that that's our next agenda item, and we'll get to go into so much more at that point. But I will say that this committee has watched the progress all along. The members of the senior team that you gave a shout out to, thank you so much for the work, the way you've come in and presented and answered questions. And we as committee members have really been very vested in this and asked a lot of questions to make sure that we understood it, and we know that the report is a tremendous product. I too am really excited to see this put in place. And so the teachers, celebrating our teachers, providing the incentive that they deserve, and recognizing their leadership in the classroom and keeping them in the classroom when they want to be is the goal, right? So anyway, I won't say anything more there other than to thank the group that's put this together. And that's my summary.
Thank you, Dr. Reiniger. Dr. Neola. Move on to item number 9, matters related to curriculum and instruction. Item 9A is consideration and approval of the district's teacher incentive allotment plan. Ms. Veronica Cortez.
Mr. President, board members, Dr. Noyola, senior team, and audience, I am excited to be able to come in here and share with you our teacher incentive allotment. If you'll give me just a second, I'm going to close a couple of things on the screen and pull up our presentation for tonight. So definitely a night of celebration. So many celebrations, and so I want to make sure that I have my share screen on there. There we go. So here we are, excited to be able to share our teacher incentive allotment presentation with you tonight. Definitely a night of celebration for so many reasons. First and foremost, this has been a vision that we have been working on for almost a year, as Dr. Noyola mentioned. But even before the year, our board has had this vision of being able to incentivize and to be able to pay our teachers what they are really worth. So we have some teachers that have they sustained success for years. And so tonight, we're able to bring that to you, bring our local designation system to you all for consideration and possible approval. So definitely a lot to be proud of, but I'm going to start with this. Why? Because tonight is a huge celebration. We get to celebrate our teachers. We need to remember that at the beginning of every profession is some very successful and very influential teacher. And so tonight we have an opportunity to talk a little bit about how we are going to elevate the teaching profession in our district as we embark on this teacher incentive allotment. So, teacher incentive allotment, I'll preface the rest of this presentation by saying our board, as Dr. Noyola and Dr. Reiniger mentioned, our board has been with us every step of the way. So what we're sharing tonight is probably not new to our board. However, I am going to go through all of our information for the sake of the audience, and I do want to make sure that we have a thorough representation of what our local designation system is going to be. So teacher incentive allotment is made possible by our state, by the House Bill 3, and essentially our state has set aside funding to incentivize teachers. Those incentives run between $3,000 and $32,000. And so those incentives, those amounts are not set by the district, they're actually set by our state, and they're recalculated every April. But what a huge way to pay tribute to our teachers, particularly this year, right? It's all about timing. And so our TIA plan and coming forward tonight couldn't be at a better time. So what we're going to do tonight is explain a little bit more about our local designation system. I do want to point out that the process of our TIA application starts tonight. And so we're coming forward to our board to share our plan. and hopefully get approval to be able to submit that application later this week. And then TEA will work hand in hand with Texas Tech University to review our plan and make sure that we're good to go. So just as with any other new initiative in our district, it's always important to bring the voice of our stakeholders to the table. And so all along the way, we have had an opportunity to bring in various layers of the district, beginning with some of our community members, principals, assistant principals, instructional coaches, and so on. But one very prominent voice is that of the teacher. So we had teachers that sat on our design teams. We brought our design teams together to make sure that we would start the think tank process. And on every design team, we had Teachers of the Year, both from this year and from years prior. And then along the way, we also were able to bring together a TIA teacher focus group. And so as we've been working on our application that we're sharing tonight, we kept on coming back to that TIA teacher focus group because we wanted to make sure that we captured every layer of the organization, but in particular, also had time to get with our teachers and understand their perspective as well. So in order for a teacher to even be considered for a TIA incentive plan, they have certain areas of eligibility. Those are on the screen. First of all, our teachers have to be SBEC certified. They need to be coded as a teacher in our PEMS database, and they need to have a credible year with our district. And so the state essentially has said there are two pathways by which teachers can access teacher incentive allotments. The first pathway is the National Board Certification, and I believe we had a chance to talk a little bit about that. We've also had some webinars in our district and have had a very healthy attendance. But the National Board Certification is a very lengthy process. It essentially is the gold standard of teaching. And so very excited to also be able to share with you all that there are means by which we can leverage reimbursement opportunities for our teachers that are going through this first pathway. And so we're certainly going to take advantage of that and continue to use that to our advantage. But the other eligibility pathway is that of the local designation system. And so as a board, your role is to be familiar and to really know the ins and outs of our local designation system. Inclusive of that is also our our spending plan. And so along the way, we brought you to the table and we've kept you abreast of our local designation system. But tonight, you get to see the final product of all of our months of work. So pathway to a local designation system. We have the opportunity to create our local designation system where we as a district set benchmarks and eligibility requirements for 3 different levels of teachers, of designated teachers. And so in our local designation system, we're going to take a deep dive into what each of these layers looks like. But essentially, in TIA, in our designation system, our teachers can earn incentives and become designated teachers that are recognized, exemplary, or master level. And so those are the 3 levels that will become very familiar in our district. To the left of your screen, you see something that probably looks very familiar to you. So realizing our dream is not something new to our district. As a matter of fact, when we brought in realizing our dream, we were able to make so much progress in our district because people knew exactly what measurable outcomes we were going to be looking at. And we set goals at every campus. So just as realizing our dream changed the trajectory of our district, now we're moving that to the teacher level. And so as part of our local designation system, we have something that we have titled the Teacher Individualized Report. Why? Because all throughout the entire school year, our teachers have the ability to do some progress monitoring of where they sit in regards to our TIA eligibility. Our state has also said that there's 2 non-negotiables. Every local designation system must have a measure for student growth and also for teacher observation. And so those 2 we'll hear about in just a minute. The first part of our local designation system is something very aligned to our work with Holdsworth and very aligned to our culture, and that's teacher leadership. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Villarreal so he can talk a little bit more
about teacher leadership.
Good evening, everybody. President Jaimes, board members, Dr. Neola, and audience. So Ms. Corton spoke about those components that were non-negotiables. Well, I had the fun task of having some that were negotiable. And I say fun because that means we're able to work with teachers and we're able to work with focus groups in determining what those factors are. So as you can see on the screen, the first component of the TIA is called the additional factors, and it is an optional component permitted by the teacher incentive allotment. We like to refer to it as teacher leadership, as it encompasses one of the goals that we have with TIA, and that is creating and nurturing teacher leaders. And as you can see on the screen, teacher leadership will be worth 20% of a teacher's overall TIA score. As part of the development of this component, we not only met with our TIA teacher focus group, but our committee also looked at our leadership definition to identify those dimensions that we can include in the TIA. Those being building trusting relationships and developing self and others. As such, our committee landed on including 4 additional factors: student surveys, parent surveys, professional leadership, and teacher attendance. The first 2 additional factors include student and parent surveys, which will evaluate how teachers are connecting with the school community, delivering instruction, and exhibiting quality customer service to our parents and students. This is in line with the leadership definition of building trusting relationships. And as you can see on the screen, we have our student survey, which would be for students in grades 3 through 12, and our parent survey, which will be for parents of students in pre-K through 2. Teachers will earn points on the percentage of favorable outcomes from the surveys. The next 2 additional factors that you see on the screen came as a result of our conversations with our TIA, teacher focus group. For professional leadership, our focus group felt we needed to give teachers the opportunity to exhibit their leadership behaviors on campus and across the district. This factor allows our teachers to seek out quality professional development to not only improve their classroom instruction, but to also coach other teachers on quality instructional practices. In addition, we want our teachers to increase their sphere of influence by taking on instructional leadership positions on their campus. And this factor aligns perfectly with our leadership definition of developing self and others. Teachers will be provided a menu of leadership opportunities that would qualify for points in that particular component. And finally, our focus group wanted to include teacher attendance because they felt there's nothing better than having a high-quality teacher present every day in school and in the classroom instructing our students. And teachers will earn points based on a limited amount of absences. So you can see on this screen there, again, it's comprised of 4 components. Again, the student survey, the parent survey, professional leadership, and teacher attendance. So at this time, I'll now turn it over to Mrs. Lori Romero, and she will speak about teacher observation.
Good evening, Mr. Jaimes, Board of Trustees, Dr. Neola, senior team, and audience. And so T-TEST is nothing new to us. We've been using this instrument for a while, right, as far as our teacher observation. But there's a couple of things I want to call to your attention on this sample that we have here for calculations. If you look there, you can see our domains that we're dealing with. We're dealing with domain 2 and domain 3, which is all instruction and the learning environment. And then they have the dimensions off to the side. All of those dimensions go with the domains and are very explicit of what we're looking for when we go into classrooms. So when you look at the ratings there, you can see that there's a sample there showing 3, 4s, and 5s. When we use this instrument, the scale can go from anywhere from a 1 to a 5, the 1 being the lowest and the 5 being the highest. If you look at the very top, it says in order to be eligible for a TIA designation, teachers must earn a minimum rating of 3, which is proficient in all dimensions or indicators. So when the committee looked at this or the design team looked at it, we want to make sure our teachers are at least at proficient or above in every dimension. That was going to be a very important factor. And you can see that the weight of this is 30% of the overall score. But going back to the rating, The biggest key factor for us is going to be the calibration of when we're going in there as administrators, whoever is doing those evaluations, we need to make sure we're on the same page. So some of the things that we're going to be putting in place is we're going to be looking at the data, we're going to be studying data and making sure that there's not a skew. If there's a skew in the data, we'll have to go back, analyze that, and make sure that there's professional development that our appraisers are getting, so we can make sure that that we're all on the same page and it's all the collaboration is there for all of it. And then going back to that 30%, we know that this is an important piece for our teachers, but the other part is the coaching and the feedback. And so one of the areas that we're going to be looking at as well to make sure there's alignment is our walkthroughs. Currently, we have several walkthroughs. We're going to streamline that to one walkthrough, so we're all looking at the same instrument and making sure that that process, as we're wanting our teachers to improve, that layer of the feedback and the coaching is going to be imperative. And so that's the other piece that we'll be looking at with our T-tests. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Garcia. She's going to talk a little bit about our data.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Minoa, trustees, administration, and audience. Our design team charge was to identify an assessment instrument that measures student growth as well as determine the eligibility criteria for these student outcomes. Our design team was guided by two main principles when we talk about assessment and data, and that was validity and reliability. And so we began to look at our current assessment offerings in the district and potential software solutions that can measure and track student growth. As we look to STAR, our state assessment program, STAR is a huge part of our accountability system. In looking at STAR, it has had a growth measure in there for quite some time, quite a number of years. But for STAR, we need 2 consecutive years of student outcomes for the state to determine growth. Given last year's cancellation due to the pandemic and this year's potential gaps in our system with students not testing, we couldn't reliably use the STAR assessment in our TI application for this year. So we looked at other software solutions, other assessments in the district. Also looked at TA. They do have some guidance as far as assessment programs that they have vetted through their system for the mere purpose of the teacher incentive allotment. STAR is something we can consider as we move forward once STAR begins to stabilize, considering future phase-ins. TEA did establish a minimum set of standards for student growth to guide districts. To align with TEA's standards of student growth, we did mirror their thresholds. So when we look at classifying students under this category, we look at, in order to be considered recognized under student growth, 55% or more of the students must meet or exceed their growth to be considered recognized. For exemplary, 60% or more of the students and or tests exceed expectations, and 75% for masters. So when we look at the sample calculation on the screen here, we do see some assessments on the left side. For pre-K, we do have a current assessment in the district, in fact across the state, that's called CLI Engage. For pre-K, we're looking at CLI Engage as a recommended assessment for the areas of math and reading. As we looked at some of the other areas in the absence of STAR and utilizing some software solutions, we are recommending a new assessment called NWEA MAP Growth for the remainder of the grade levels. MAP Growth is a software that measures student growth longitudinally. It is research-based, TEKS aligned, and has a very strong correlation linking study to STAR. So as we look at using the assessments in this area, we're looking at kinder through second for math and reading, grades 3 through 12 reading, 3 through 9th math including algebra, and in grades 2 through 8 incorporating science. So for student growth, in order to calculate an accurate measure, you look at a student's performance from the beginning of the year, which is called the BOI often, compared to the performance at the end of the year, on a post-test. So as a teacher, I would administer the pre-test in August or September in that timeline. In that same year, administer the end of the year test in April or May to determine student growth. So as you look at the example here, if I'm an 8th grade math teacher, I have 64 students in my classroom across my periods. 35 students meet or exceed that growth. So 35 divided by 64 gives us a score of 55%. At a weight of 50, would apply 27.5 points towards the overall score, which would include your t-tests and your additional factors for an overall score. We will have an opportunity to phase in additional grade levels and/or content areas, but Ms. Corton did mention progress monitoring in our Realizing Our Dream Teacher Individualized Report. Along with CLI Engage and Map Growth, they do have a middle-of-the-year assessment that we can use to leverage and inform teachers and principals along the way to help tailor instruction, celebrate the successes, and of course mid-course corrections along the way. So that data in the middle of the year can really help shape the instruction and help guide teachers' use of the data as it relates to TIA and of course meeting the needs of our students. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Romero for the next slide.
So this is a part I like the best, and I spoke a little bit about it last week, uniting the district preparation for individualized support. Perfect timing with COVID and what we're seeing with our students, right, as we're looking at these instructional gaps. So taking us back to our journey with elementary, you look at our scores right now that are kinder readiness, they're 34% above the state. You look at the STAR scores in elementary, every area is above the state for our last STAR scores, and it's been several years. But when you look at that, it didn't start in 3rd grade. We realized that we had to get it right in pre-kinder. And so when we started that vertical alignment in elementary with our iStation, and we all started looking at the same instrument, it really propelled the success of what we were doing with our students, because all of a sudden we were all talking the same language. And so I'm very excited now that we're looking at an instrument that's going to follow our children from the minute they walk in our doors in kinder, and it's going to carry them through all the way to high school. A little bit about the MAPS program. They do the reading K through 12. The math is K through 8, and science is 2 through 8. Very excited with the science component, because now that we're embedding that in the STAR and the content, it's really going to help us keep a marker on what our students are doing. The second piece to it is that individualized instruction. We're going to be able to look at every child and have a prescriptive plan for them. The interventions will go right with what they need. And as we're looking at these interventions, we can look at it from the district level to the campus level down to the teacher. And so that is going to really help us focus where these instructional gaps are, and even enrichment. Because I can share with you that in some of the programs, we're seeing some students that are really excelling in spite of everything else. We have 17 pre-kindergarten students that are in the My Math Academy that have tapped out at 2nd grade, and I have to put them in another program because they're beyond 2nd grade. And so not only is this program going to help us fill the instructional gaps, it's going to help us enrich the students that need it as well. And then as far as our teachers, it's really going to help our teachers as well, because not only do our students need that individualized plan, our teachers do as well. So we'll be able to look at that Realizing Our Dream scorecard and tailor it. Our principals will be having conversation, our instructional coaches, with these teachers and making sure that they're on point. And what are the areas that you're growing? Are you in the right direction? Are you not? So not only are our students going to be receiving individualized instruction, our teachers will be receiving individualized PD as well, based on the needs and the goals that they set forth for themselves. So very excited. I think this is going to take our district to the next level. We'll be able to look all the way back to where our students started. I shared with Ms. Gutierrez as a former middle school principal. Can you imagine getting that data all the way back and just being able to see what that child did from the very beginning and follow them all the way through and make sure that we're doing what we need to with them. So it's a great time for us to bring this in. I think the timing is perfect, and very excited as we continue with that. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Corton.
the story that she can tell about early literacy, right? So recruitment and retention. You know, ever since we adopted our strategic plan, we looked at goal 2, and we did things really, really differently. I remember we packed up, Mr. Powers, and went to a university that you may not go visit on your own, but we did, right? Anyway, well, we took off to go to different campuses, different universities, and we really wanted to get recruitment and retention right. And so recruitment and retention, that's where the magic is. It's not just about going out and looking for great people and bringing them here. It's then how do you keep them here? So with TIA, we have had a great opportunity to sit and just look at practices as a whole. Part of our local designation system, we're also needing to rethink onboarding. Why? Because TIA is going to be something that's available to all of our districts in the state of Texas. So what is our edge going to be? 2 really important things. When we onboard individuals, particularly designated teachers, we need to make sure that we get that right. And who better to onboard them and mentor them than a peer who is also a designated teacher? So one of the things that we'll be doing with onboarding and recruitment is that we want to launch peer coaching. We want our teachers to come in and have somebody from the very first day that they come to our district, have somebody that can be a thought partner and really help them be part of our culture. But I'll talk a little bit about retention, because along the way, one of the things that our teachers in our TIA teacher focus group said is, what if we're not interested in going into an assistant principal or going into an instructional coach role, but we want to do things and be a different level of leadership from our classrooms? So thank you, a huge thank you to Mr. Strubart and his pod, because they were able to outline teacher pathways. So our edge will be the way that we onboard people, bring them into our culture, and then secondly, with peer coaching and making sure that every teacher has a way to elevate the profession from where they are at currently, which is the classroom. That was key. We keep hearing that over and over from these effective teachers. They say, we don't want to leave the classroom. We love our kids, and this is where we want to stay. Great. So we created some teacher pathways, and we'll be launching those in August. Regardless of where we end up with TIA, those will now be part of the fabric of HCISD. So we talked earlier about the 2 roles of our board. First of all, it's to look at the local designation system, which you heard about the components of. But secondly, the TIA spending plan is also important for our board to be familiar with and to understand. So you see up on the screen there's a 90-10 plan. Why? Because the state says that we can, of the incentive monies that we generate in our district, we are able to give up to 90% back to the teachers, and 10% is at the district level. Our plan includes a 90%, the full 90% allotment will be routed to our teachers. Why? Because it's one extra way that we are going to be able to appreciate the work of our teachers. So in that 90%, they will have an option to have a one-time payout in May, or a two-time payout, which would be a 2-part lump sum, part of that being in December and the other part being in May. So as we get to that portion, you can imagine that Mr. Galazos and his team is going to be critical in making sure that we get that rolled out. And I do want to clarify that in order for us to qualify and to be able to do those payouts, it's quite a process. This coming year, this coming school year, will be what we call our data capture year. So this entire year, we'll be capturing data of the teachers that are interested in participating in TIA. And you notice that our first payout is not projected until December 2023. Why? Because there's a validation process that we need to go through. That's why with our individualized teacher report, it can facilitate that data collection and really help us move along the way. So that's the 90%. I'll talk a little bit about the 10%. And so up on the screen, you see where we're wanting to route our 10% that we keep at the district level. First and foremost, we want to support the launch of peer coaching, as I mentioned, with onboarding and retention. The other thing is that teacher pathways are a great way to keep great teachers in the classroom. The other group, because they're teachers of teachers, are instructional coaches. And so what you can expect as a board is that we're going to come forward to you to share our instructional coach pathways as well. And so we anticipate that our instructional coaches are going to be a big part of the success of our teachers, and so we'll design those pathways alongside our teacher pathways. And then just as Mrs. Romero mentioned, every school district in our country is headed for a very unique school year coming up. We are going to have to bring our students in and be spot on with curriculum and instruction, but most of all, interventions. And so part of that 10% will go to support the rollout and the professional learning on how teachers can design and implement these student interventions. Keyword being individualized. You'll hear that a lot as we progress into next year. So this is a message to all of our teachers who are sitting at home watching this board meeting and thinking, do I do this or do I not? Like, what is the value add? First of all, I'll say you have nothing to lose but incentive monies. Secondly, when I talk about Mr. Galazos and the role that his department will play, here's why. As a local designation system, we have the option to make these incentive funds TRS eligible. That is a big topic when we talked about incentives. So up to now, they weren't eligible. As a district, you're not able to say, yes, we want this to be TRS eligible, and so we commit to that. We are including that in our local designation system as one extra layer of recruitment, retention, and appreciation to our teachers. So if you're wondering what that real impact is for TRS, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Glassel so he can speak a little bit about the table that you see on the screen.
Thank you, Ms. Cortan, Dr. Noela, board members. So on this table here, we wanted to show the impact of what the allotment has on retirement income. And so, for example, a teacher with year zero with 30 years of experience, the TRS rate for retirement is 2.3% per year. So you multiply that 2.3% times 30 years gives you 69% of the amount that you can use towards your retirement based on your highest five-year average. In this example, year zero, 30-year experience, they get 69% of their 5-year average for retirement, which is, and we took an example, $60,000 average. So 69% times $60,000 is $41,400. That's what that teacher would get for retirement for the rest of their life. So if that teacher decided to apply for the teacher incentive allotment and they were awarded, $10,000, for example, for a year for the next 5 years, year one after they begin, they get the allotment of $10,000. They'll have another year of experience, 31 years. The rate from TRS is still the same at 2.3%. The percent for retirement is 71.3% because you added another year. And their 5-year average goes up to $62,000. So they get an additional $10,000 that year. So now that 5-year average, raises, $2,000 more, right? Because 10,000 divided by 5 is 2,000, so they got $2,000 more for the average. So you multiply that 62,000 times 71.3 gives them a retirement income of $44,206. That's an increase of $2,806 from the previous year, right? Because they get an additional year of service plus an additional $2,000 of additional income. This is assuming that there's no other additional increase, in this 5-year span. Now, typically there will be increases. This is just to make this an example. So year two, they're going to get another $10,000, right? Because they got the allotment for 5 years. So now they have 32 years of experience. The rate is still 2.3. The percent for retirement is 73.6%, and their 5-year average is now $64,000. So it jumped up another $2,000 because now there's 2 more years to average that $10,000. So their retirement income, you multiply 64,000 times 73.6. is $47,104. So that's an increase of $5,704 from year zero, right? That's committing 2 years of the allotment and staying 2 more years. Year three, I'm not going to do all the math for all the years, but year three, and there's an additional $8,694 of retirement income for the rest of their life. This is per year for the rest of their life. So let's say they stay 5 years. So in 5 years, they get 5 more additional years of experience. They're at 35 years. At 2.3%, their percent of retirement is now 80.5%. That's how much they get to get from their highest 5-year average. And because it's 5 years, now they get the full $10,000. So now it's $70,000 average. So 70,000 times 80.5% gives you $56,350 of retirement income for the rest of their life. That's an increase of $14,950 from the year zero. So that teacher, if they decided to stay 5 more years, can really get $14,950 of additional retirement income per year for the rest of their life. And this is based on a $10,000 increase. Now it could jump up $20,000 or $30,000. TRS does have some caps, that we will need to monitor based on increases per year. But this is, just an example that we wanted to show the board and how the additional allotment can have a big impact on teacher retirement, because now is TRS eligible. So hand it over back to you, Ms. Corton.
So thank you, Mr. Colasso. So you can see the impact. And as we think about teachers weighing the options, do I do this or not? This is a big one. So Mr. Colasso's talked about a period of 5 years, and the reason that we went with 5 years is because if you earn a designation, that designation is on your SBEC certificate for a period of 5 years. And so that's why we went with that 5 years. So I'll talk to you a little bit about timeline. Obviously tonight we're here with our board, April 13th, to review and hopefully have the approval to move forward with submitting that application. Tomorrow we want to make sure that our entire school community understands our local designation system and that teachers are able to learn a little bit more about it with us. So we're having webinars tomorrow afternoon with our campuses. We are going to push the submit button if approved tonight. We're going to hit the submit button by April 15th, and we are actually set to do that tomorrow, thanks to Ms. Gutierrez. And then the other thing, too, that I want to mention is that you see on the timeline there, we want to have a window of time by which teachers can come in and do a preliminary interest in their intent to participate in TIA. As we mentioned earlier, they really don't have anything to lose but access to incentive funds. So we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity to let us know ahead of time so we can prepare certainly for next year. Any teacher who is wanting to access TIA funds will be treated as a cohort all on their own. So we can monitor them, we can have close communication with them next year and get them to the finish line with that. All of this, we've learned so much along the way this last school year. And in our work with TIA, we've had a chance to stand back, or to sit back and to look at all of our processes. And so when you consider things like onboarding, when you consider things like teacher pathways, those things can certainly become the fabric of our district, aside from it being part of TIA. So wherever we end up on August the 15th, whether TEA says, yes, you're good to go, or not just yet, there are some great things, some work. I'm really proud of the work of our design teams and our teachers. And so wherever we end up on August the 15th with that designation, the designation decision, I know that we are going to have a very different type of way of recruiting and retaining our very best teachers. And so before we move into questions and conversations and move into the action, I do want to take one more time to thank Ms. Gutierrez and Dr. Darryl Mickle. As our lead researchers, wow, yes, huge round of applause. And Gracie's with us tonight in person. Dr. Mickle is with us virtually. But what these two have done has just been absolutely incredible. And then the heavy lift of the hours that we have taken to design our local designation system, and everybody for every meeting came ready to do the work. And so a huge thank you to all of our design team members. And with that, board, I would like to open it up to questions and conversation and then move on to our action item.
Dr. Reiniger? Dr. Reiniger?
Please, yes, thank you. First off, just a tremendous team effort. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, Dr. Nichols. It just feels like every angle has been examined, every aspect of it, because you were listening to the teachers, right? You were listening to your design teams, you listen and respond and create. We got to watch it unfold at every Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee. I love what Mr. Cavazos presented. That is very exciting. So that was new information and really well presented because it's a little complicated, but it really shows the financial benefit. Not only are you getting the $10,000 each year more, but you're actually then building in equity and income for your retirement. Again, a way to honor our teachers. So I'm even more excited every time I hear it. So thank you so much to everybody.
Mr. President, absolutely great presentation, and sign me up. I'm ready to do it.
Recruit you, Dr.
I want to do everything. It's just so exciting. I always want to do, get down with the kindergartners. They're doing great stuff. But really, the game changer is that new information for retirement. That's powerful. That is, to me, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, there's going to be some work to be done, but it's a cost-benefit analysis. Man, there's a lot of benefit there. So congratulations on what great presentation and great new information today. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Ferry, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Wow. Ms. Cortana and all of the presenters, what an incredible way to begin a new era following this pandemic. What an incredible opportunity for education to move forward after what we have all experienced. I agree with you totally in so many ways, but perhaps in the most ways, the timing is perfect. This is a goal that we have all sought for decades, and no one could figure out how to do it. And so now, with the state's direction, we're figuring it out. And you have given such comprehensive attention to every single detail that this is really a very, very doable, understandable approach. So I am so excited about this. It's a breath of fresh air. It's finally an opportunity to at least provide some additional support for the teachers who are fundamental to what we're doing with our children in a district that's really developed a plan that people can take hold of and work with. And in particular, I want to thank you for your attitudes throughout this entire thing. Rather than seeing it as a task that each of you has been given, you have seen it as a joy and an opportunity to bring something of great permanent value to our teachers and to the teaching profession. Hallelujah. I am ready to vote. This is great. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. You have created the foundation of what will become a permanent change in public education. Thank you for that.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. De Leon, go ahead.
Thank you. I colleagues, I think the game changer for me in the whole thing is the TRS. Because with the TRS, they go based on the best 5 years. Is that correct, or is it 5 years?
Yes.
You're correct.
Is it the best 5 or the last 5?
It's the best, highest 5-year average.
Best 5, right?
Yep, right.
The highest 5. So even 5 years from now, the state doesn't have any more funding. They banked those best 5 years so that they can use those. I agree with everyone. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I was a teacher, I'd be the first one to sign up. With that said, I do have a couple of questions. you said let me ask you, Veronica, you said they can sign up and it's not, there's no difference. So is a teacher that opts in and a teacher that opts out, is there different responsibilities they have, or is the responsibilities the exact same and they're just not getting paid?
So I'll talk a little bit about that, and when we talk about them coming in to declare that they're interested in this, this coming year, there's not going to be very much of a difference. What you'll see is that we are going to treat those teachers as a cohort, because we want to make sure that they are very aware of the progress monitoring. We want to work with them, we want to invest in them and make sure that we get them to the point that they want to be, which is to be designated. Now, once a teacher earns any designation in our district, we have a culture that we need to pay it forward. And so what we're wanting to do with our designated teachers, once we come through all of this cycle, and a teacher says they are designated, they must come in and help us to build and lift the rest of the organization. So when Dr. Villarreal talks a little bit about those leadership traits that we're looking for in teachers, that's really what their work will revolve around. And we have to understand, too, that they're classroom teachers, so we don't want to overburden them. But if there is a teacher who is designated, there's some magic going on in that classroom. And so to be able to host brand-new teachers to come in and watch what you're doing, or let us zoom into your class so that we can look at best practices, those are the types of responsibilities that we're looking at, because we want to make sure that when we talk about elevating the profession of teaching, that we start that and model that here in our district. So this coming year, their preliminary interest in TIA will allow us to get our systems ready to support the number of teachers that are interested in that. It's not going to be an obligation for them, but at least it gives us an idea of who is interested in pursuing TIA.
Right, but let's say you're in year 2, year 3, year 4. Is there going to be a difference between someone opting in and someone opting out?
So I think
in terms of responsibilities.
So I think I want to make sure that I'm answering your question correctly, because when you opt in, you're saying you're going to opt in and you are interested in having access to the incentive funds.
You want to participate.
Right. So there's a difference between wanting to vie for the incentive monies and actually earning those incentive monies. So if a teacher meets all of the eligibility requirements, we are going to expect them to help us to elevate the teaching profession. They get their extra incentives, and so as a way to pay it back, to pay things forward, they will help us with building their colleagues. For somebody that says, I'm not interested in this and I'm good where I'm at, then that's perfectly fine. They continue business as usual from their classroom and don't really have any added responsibilities. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, because like Belinda was saying, I'm sorry, Dr. Reiner was saying, you really embraced getting everybody in and getting feedback and getting buy-in, and that's the key to anything. And I think you did an amazing job on that. But while you were getting that buy-in feedback, were there any teachers that had concerns that you can share, that why they may not want to participate, or why they're kind of reluctant?
So I'll tell you where the reluctancy came, is in looking at our local designation system. You know, some of our very best teachers, and here's why we're doing the preliminary declaration if they're interested or not. Some of our very best teachers say, I don't do anything different, and I don't know that I would meet the metrics because I'm not quite sure. And in reality, our highly effective teachers might need a little bit of a nudge to say, no, you got this, come on in. Where the reluctancy came is their ability to think, maybe I could make this, maybe I could meet all of the eligibility requirements. And then the other thing too is they too had questions about So if I'm designated, what is it that my responsibility will be? And our response to that was help us elevate the teaching profession, beginning with HCISD. And so we're not going to box anybody in and say, if you're a designated teacher, you have to do these 5 things for us. Instead, it will be a menu that they can select from, and understanding too that they're classroom teachers. So we have to be cautious of how much we demand of them. The key here is that when you think about the power of opening up your classroom, that doesn't take extra time necessarily, but it's to really say, here's what's going on in this classroom, and as a colleague, come in and just learn from me. And so more than anything, it's about taking those designated teachers and elevating one another, working with their colleagues so that you create this synergy around everybody. It elevates the entire organization because they can see what a gold standard is in teaching. And so I think that that's probably the biggest thing. And like I said, with being reluctant, a lot of it is, I don't know that I'm one of those superstar teachers. And several of them, we've said, you may want to just look at it because you could very well meet all of those measurable outcomes.
Well, I'll tell you, Veronica, I think you did I think the whole team did an amazing job. And I'll be the first to say, if I was a teacher, I'd be the first one signing up to do that. Great job.
Thank you. We hope they all sign up, right?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the district teachers incentive allotment plan as presented.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Muniz, a second by Dr. Reiniger. Any further discussion? Which we've already had a good discussion. I will say this, Ms. Cortan, you keep saying elevating teaching profession. That sounds great. That's like music to our ears if we can do that, because this is going to have an impact for years to come, not just to the teachers themselves, but to the district and to our students.
2 key words, individualized and elevation.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And thank you to our board for always coming into our meetings, listening, giving us, great feedback, but just for your support and the time that you take to understand this work. This is big work, and no doubt it will change the trajectory of teachers.
Yes.
But thank you all for your time too in learning alongside us. So thank you.
Like I said, we had a motion by Dr. Muniz and a second by Dr. Reiniger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10, matters related to business services. 10A, consider approval to extend contracts for financial auditing services. Mr. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Hines, Dr. Neola, board members. Agenda item 10A is approved to extend the contract for external auditing services. We're recommended to extend one more year with CRI, led by Quinn Anderson. Cost is between $60,000 to $65,000, comparable to last year. They've done a good job overall in providing a timely audit to the board. We recommend approval. Any questions?
President, make a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next is item 11, matters relating to district operations. We have a Facilities and Safety Committee report by Mr. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Hyman, Dr. Neola, board members. Mr. Tapia wasn't available tonight, so I'm presenting for him. We did have a facility committee meeting last week on April the 6th. He updated the committee on on several items, update on environmental protection agency water testing mandates. They're going to be testing for lead in our water lines, so that's upcoming in a couple of years. That we just want to inform the board that's in the future here. He also updated the board on the Vela Middle School crosswalk and the sidewalk connectivity project that we are partnering with the city of Harlingen. It's going on schedule. Updated the board on the Vernon Middle School choir and band hall renovations due to the fire damage. We are expecting to get most of that reimbursed from the insurance company. We did file a claim and we should get reimbursed from the insurance company. Oscar also updated the board on our TA programs, Treasure Hills Elementary, Wing Addition Phase Number 2. The project is about 67% complete. Also updated the school on school entry vestibules, safety improvements. We began that work during spring break, and they're still working, doing their job there. Early College High School and UTRGV campus project is 67% complete. About 85% of the roof has been placed, and the exterior drives and sidewalks are pretty much complete as well. The Transition Academy, 90% of the Transition Academy is complete and is projected to be 100% by the end of April. And also updated the board on the Gutierrez Fine Arts Academy and some baseball and softball improvements at both Keys and Dixland. And I updated the board on the construction fund report. Mr. Powers chairs the committee. I'll hand it over to him if he has any additional comments.
The only comments, I mean, everything's going very, very well on all these projects. Construction projects are all moving along very smoothly. I just wanted to comment on the Vernon Middle School. I think it's very important. Our staff has found some additional damage that's occurred in those buildings, and it's good that we found them now to alleviate problems in the future. As Julio said, our insurance company looks like it's stepping up and going to take care of these, which is going to take a little bit more time, but these buildings are going to be a lot safer than they were. So that's one comment I wanted to make. The Vela School pedestrian project is coming along really well. The bridge is being assembled. The sidewalk is basically complete, except for one property owner is apparently presenting a few problems on trying to get the easement or the access to go all the way to Business 83. But the bridge is being assembled and should be in place not too long in the future. So other than that, everything's going great, and Oscar's department is doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Glasses and Mr. Powers. Next, we'll move on to item number 12, School Board Continuing Education Report. Ms. Sonia Brown?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I am very happy to report that all board members have completed all their required training for the 2021 school year.
Thank you. Next, item 13, adjournment into closed or executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082, the Open Meetings Act, for the following purposes: consultation with legal counsel and discussion pending litigation, cause number 2020 DCL 00118 in the 445th District Court, Cameron County, Texas. SMAC Mechanical Ltd., DBA Southern Mechanical Air Conditioning versus HCISD, CA 2015 DLC 04578 in the 103rd District Court, Cameron County, Texas. Cause number C 4899171 in the 398th District Court, Hidalgo County, Texas. Discuss recommendations regarding employment of the renewal of educators and professional contracts for probationary term and other contract employment for 2021-2022, and discuss employment of teachers and other professional staff. We are now in executive session. We are now reconvened into open session for matters discussed in executive session.
Mr. President? Mr. President?
Is there Dr. Meeks?
I'd like to say with regard to cause number 2015 DCL 04578, I move to authorize legal counsel to issue a settled demand discussed in executive session.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Meeks, a second by Dr. Reininger. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, consider recommendations regarding employment of renewal of educators, professional contracts for probationary term and other contract employments for 2021-2022.
Mr. President, I move the recommendation regarding employment and renewal of educators and professional contracts for probationary term and other contract employment for 2021, 2022 as recommended by administration.
We have a motion by Dr. Reiniger,
Second.
second by Mr. De Leon. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 14C, consider employment of teachers and other professional staff.
President, I make a motion for approval as recommended by administration.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. De Leon, a second by Dr. Muñiz. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are now adjourned.